No light. All right, we're just gonna make it do what it do.
Okay.
Girl, it ain't the first time I had bad lighting. Y'all, welcome back to the channel. Guys, look who I'm here with. Y'all know who this is? Rochelle Adamson Budget. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tinesha Davis of Fun and Budget. This is Rochelle Adamson Budget.
Hey, y'all.
And in this video, we are going to talk about travel while experiencing job loss. Despite. Because right now we are in Las Vegas. I live in the DC metro area, Northern Virginia. Rochelle lives in
Hawaii. And we still making it happen, baby.
Me and Jay were on vacation in San Diego, and then we went to LA. And then I found out through the grapevine that she was on her way to Vegas. And I'm like, oh, we are too close to Vegas not to see her in Vegas. So we extended our trip.
That's right.
And we came here. Now, the thing about it is, for those of you who don't know, and some of you may know, I don't have a job no more. Oh my gosh, Rochelle.
How does that feel?
Do you realize Wednesday, today's Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Well, today's Friday.
Oh, today's Friday.
Things like that happen when you ain't got to keep up with the days and times.
Yeah. So Wednesday was my last official day.
Like for real this time.
For real. Like I don't have no more vacation time. No more time. I was charging vacation time.
Wow.
All right, let me give y'all the background. I'm trying to get my, hold on, I'm trying to open up the phone.
I was about to say, how long has it been?
So, basically, guys, I was laid off. With the new administration or whatever, they've been doing like lots of job cuts. Hold on, okay. Lots of job cuts have been happening. Within the past year, I have been laid off 3 times. So this was my 3rd time, and my last day at work, my last physical day after the shutdown, like all of the things happened. Government shut down, then the government opened. So then my last physical day of work was the day after Thanksgiving. So I haven't been working at a physical location since the day after Thanksgiving.
Black Friday then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Literally. Yeah. And the company I was with, we came up with this interesting creative solution, a little bit of a solution. As they were still trying to find a placement for me, they allowed me to use my paid time off.
Okay. Plus
they gave me 80 hours worth of bench time. But they allowed me to charge it in 30-hour increments. Where normally I would charge 40 hours a week, full time. They was like, you know what? We can drop you to part-time status. You can charge 30 hours a week, still accrue PTO, still get 10% match for 401k and benefits. Just all the things like that.
And keep your insurance.
And keep my insurance. So they allowed me to do that. And so between then and now, Wednesday was like, what was it, the 27th of July? January. So between the last day of, the day after Thanksgiving in November, to let's say the 27th or the 28th, I don't know dates anymore, of January, I was able to submit timesheets. Wow. My last paycheck will be February 13th. So I'm blessed.
You surviving. When people ask you how you're doing, I'm making it. Tanisha, this is
bye and bye. Yeah.
So let's talk about it, Tanisha. Look, I feel like I'm about to interview you. To me, it is so rare to find content like yours, especially on this subject. I mean, there's a few channels right now who I feel like have that visibility, and I'm grateful for it because it starts the conversation. But it's nice to talk about it because you're someone who has experienced job loss before. Like she said, 3 times. Didn't it happen before then too? Or is this the first? I feel like this is not the first time we've been here.
Job, I was there for 6 months before it happened. Okay. Our team had 27 people. They laid off 20 of us.
Crazy.
So everybody they kept was
Oh, no.
They laid off every single minority.
And it is important to
I feel like I want to try to move that light over here.
Do you want to?
Hold on.
I was about to say, do you want to take the shade off?
Let's do something.
To see.
Y'all, at first we was using natural light. Girl, that natural light said, girl, bye.
Let me see. Try it with the shade off, too. Because I feel like...
I think that's a little better.
It does help.
Yeah.
Okay. Good job.
All right.
Good job, Tanisha. The story continues. And we're back.
And we're back. Okay. So what was you saying?
So, of course, I don't remember, but I want to jump right in with a good question because we have our notes here to keep us on, keep us tight. Why would you even consider traveling after job loss? I feel like you have talked about this many a time, but we're putting it all here in the video for you.
Yes. Okay. And that's so interesting because even when I talk to y'all and I say I'm not getting another job, I'm not looking for another job, some of it is trauma. Like, you can only take but so much emotional trauma. You know, the whole, here you go, never mind. Here you go, never mind. I feel like even when you say to yourself, it's fine, I have savings, I have this, I have that, psychologically, it still does something to you. Psychologically, it does something to you when you realize how much is not in your control. And then in this country, with everything that's happening in this country right now, how much doesn't even have to do with who you are as a person, but who you are because of how you look. People are being targeted. Even if nobody's saying it out loud, there's no way to tell who believes what. And we have a president who won because people believe in his messaging.
And I was going to ask you, do you believe that a lot of it is mental or internal? Like, do you feel like you're able to stay busy? Travel helps you to stay busy? Because, okay, so I'll explain.
Oh, but let me say this real quick. And this isn't even my imagination because the second time I was laid off, Doge literally came through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was literally, they literally had a meeting, town meeting.
Wow.
And basically was like, you about to be let go. They literally, where I worked, had to remove the words. Like, if we had, like equality, equity, like there was all these words, the whole gender thing, I can't even remember which one we used, whether it was like, what sex are you or what gender are you. We had to literally go through our applications and change words to not offend the administration. So this isn't me just thinking or making assumptions. No. Literally, they came through and cuts were made and our budget was cut because... So it was personal. So that's why I say the fact that how often can you put yourself back in an abusive relationship
when you aren't even the one in control of anything.
I have no control. You know, and sometimes it's a matter of how many minorities this might look like. What was it? The DEI. This might look DEI, and just so that things don't look DEI, they're letting people go, and it has nothing to do with our abilities,
your talents, your skill set.
Exactly.
Because so the reason I asked about travel.
I know we all on a whole nother tangent.
It connects.
Okay.
So the reason I asked about that is because I have had people in my life who have retired, and they end up usually going right back to work because they felt like they weren't busy enough. Yeah. What I have noticed in the short time that you've been experiencing this job loss is that you have been able to. We have the conversations off camera, like, how are you truly doing? And you're like, I can stay busy traveling. At least I have something to still look forward to.
Travel's my love.
Despite. Because it doesn't mean that, you're done working. You're just done working for now. If you want to, you can go back to the rat race. Yeah. You I ain't gonna tell you your business, but she's still, she put on a job interview, y'all. We can't keep her away.
It's something like Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. I didn't realize I was suffering until the job was gone. But I realized, having worked since 14 years old.
That doesn't.
In corporate America, in government, I was in the military, having worked,
so
you're trained. You're kind of brainwashed to believe that this is what being a productive citizen, this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's having a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm trying to wrap my head, I'm trying to wrap my head around being an entrepreneur where I don't rely on that. But it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment. Yeah. But travel has always been my happy place, my love. But I find that now that I don't have, I always said, all right, because again, we just did another video, so I don't know what video we said it in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm debt free. I have a healthy cushion, right? She came when I made a video when I finally made millionaire status. That was like about 3 years ago.
Your net worth hit $1 million.
Yeah,
and we were there to celebrate it.
So I have all of these things in place where I don't have to go back to a job.
Yeah.
But the thing of, and it's been like that for a minute,
for
right?
a long time.
But what that felt for me was when I traveled, it felt like my money was going to be replenished through these paychecks that I didn't have to spend.
You were working so that you didn't feel it.
I didn't feel it.
Of not being at work.
So I can go anywhere. I can afford
travel. You were cash
flowing the travel, but also I could afford to even take vacation without pay if I had to. But I wasn't even relying on PTO anymore because I didn't need it.
Wow.
I can afford not to be paid, right? So now that I don't have a job, but yet I'm still traveling, it's still... It was starting to give me some anxiety. Like, but wait a minute, this money, if I spend
how do I cover this?
It's not going to be replenished, right?
Yeah.
But here we are.
And I think that answers the question that we had written here. What assumptions do people make when they hear job loss and travel?
They think it's irresponsible.
They look at, but I feel like that's so crazy to say to someone who's debt free.
Yeah.
There's so few people right now in the world. Like, I remember I asked you how were the reactions in the room when everyone was kind of finding out, like there was no job?
Oh.
You were probably sitting quietly like, I'll be okay. Like, I know I'm losing my job again, but I'll be okay. Imagine all the other people in the room were not okay.
Because we did videos about this. Plus, I also feel like, especially if you're working, I was a government contractor. Mm-hmm. So as a contractor, you already know a contractor can come, a contract can go. Yeah. They don't even have to give you a reason why they're letting you go. Yeah. So because you know that's where you're working and that's how your setup is, you should have some safety measures in place so that when things like this happen, it doesn't rock you, you know? So that's why for me, getting out of debt was important. That was step one. Saving up your cushion was important. First I started with, okay, let's save up for 3 months of living expenses. Let's save up for a year of living expenses. Then I was like, oh man, I got 5 years saved up in a high yield savings account, right? And I say that because you don't need 5 years. It just so happened that that's what happened when I counted the money. Oversaver.
It's a good problem to have.
but then it turned out that that's what I needed as a bridge, my bridge account. Because think about this. You put your money in 401k. You put your money in an IRA, but you're not supposed to touch it if you're not in legal retirement age. Ooh. So how do you live in between the moments?
This is the part.
Now, I do have a brokerage account, right? So that's my money. That's not tied to tax savings or tax benefits, but it's still in the market. But for me, it behooves you to keep that money in the market as long as possible. For me, it behooves you that if the market's having a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, a bad year, that you're not pulling money in a slump, right? That's where you have to have some cash at hand that you can live off of.
Thank you.
So that's number one. Then number two, now girl, I just figured this one out in the airport. In the airport going to San Diego.
Okay.
What I figured out was, because you know my house is a business. So people always say, a house is not an investment. Well, my house, I did the numbers. Now, I knew my numbers by the month, but I never figured it out by the year. Because I never had to, right? It's always play. It's play money. I always looked at it as this is just extra money. When I did the math, the house brings in between $50,000 and $75,000 a year on its own.
That's your paid off house money.
My house, I owe about $75,000 more on the house. The house is worth, right now, it's over $1 million is what it's worth, according to Zillow.com. The house it's just me and Jay in the house. So we have all of these bedrooms, and that's where the business comes in, right? But the house costs less than less than $2,000 a month to run.
Less than.
That's the utilities. Yeah. Now, never mind if I pay it off, then it's even less. But the point is, the house pays for itself, right? But I said I figured it out in the airport because, again, we're going on these vacations, right? And I said, well, wait a minute. The house is a whole job. The house is a whole. What am I tripping on?
And get into it. Because you traveled here, met up with me, I found some tea to help hopefully fill the rooms in an even easier manner.
With less overhead. Not having to pay a middleman to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I feel it's important to share. You know, you always hear people say, keep your stuff to yourself. Don't say your things out loud. But sometimes in talking out loud about what you're doing, what your dreams are, what you're into, you run into people like her who runs into somebody out there who's doing the same thing you're doing and says, but this is how I do it. Yep. Here's some resources.
I'm going to get my hair done, and I'm watching flight attendants walk by. Like, what's happening? Oh,
we have a crash pad. That's the house business.
And the lady who does my hair also has the same type of setup.
And who knew?
And I'm watching. It's like watching another Tinesha. I'm just watching her flow, watching her, and I'm just like, this is Tinesha in another state. What do you do to have a successful home? Oh, this is what I do. And she listed it all out for me. And I was like, back to Tinesha reporting live.
And so for me to retire, or let's say be work optional, right? It didn't look like, because I realized, because between the shutdown and then between, let's say, January, I realized sitting at home is not my ministry. Being at home and not working is not my ministry. I'd rather be at work. Yeah. Hence, I went on some interviews. But yeah, right? I'd rather be at work.
You're a disciplined person, Tinesha, because what you said, I don't even know if it was on camera or if we were just talking about how you adjusted your travel to match your new norm. By when you were talking about, I'm going to delay some things, knowing when to travel and when not to travel, is your superpower. Because But it's the delayed gratification, and it's the fact that I'm willing to be raggedy in some areas. Get into it.
You know, you're not going to see me spend a lot on clothes. You're not going to see me spend a lot on name brand things. You're not going to see me spend a lot on you're not gonna see me spend a lot on travel. We travel like we ain't got no money. And I love it like that. I love saving $1, but I also love being comfortable. Right now, we're in Vegas. All right, let me tell you about these trips, y'all. Let's get into the numbers a little bit, because this is we ain't prepare. So we went to San Diego first because we wanted to go to this conference. But the thing about San Diego was, I had purchased for $200, like the whole timeshare thing. Like when you go and they say you can stay with us for like 4 days. For $200. But I purchased that a long time ago. I purchased that originally because I was going to pay my house off, and I wanted to pay it off in San Diego because I like to be cute about things. I was like, the bank has a branch in San Diego. Let's go there and pay it off. So that was the original plan. This was before the layoffs. But then when the layoffs happened, I switched up the plan again. I was like, you know what? We don't have to put $75,000 of my real money on the house right now. It could just sit there and be a cushion for a time like this, right? And so when I saw that they had this conference in San Diego, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I already have something that I paid for. So we can go there and stay there for free. Rental car. We got a rental car in San Diego. The thing with the rental car was I have points on another card. Now, I told you, we talked about this in another video. I use points. I travel and we put everything we do in life on a credit card, and I use points a lot. So I'm working off of 2 credit cards right now for 2 specific goals, but I have another credit card that has some points on it that doesn't have a goal. And so therefore, we use 12,000 points, which is approximately $120, right? So 12,000 points for our rental car for 7 days.
Wow.
Because we was only in San Diego for 4 days, but we extended the trip to visit another friend in LA, and so we used the same card.
Wow.
Then, this is where Jay had said he wanted a better car. He wanted like a Mustang or something. Homeboy, we are not about to use $50,000, 50,000 points on a nice vehicle. You were about to drive this Honda. What was it? We got a Nissan Altima.
And it's doing its job.
And mind you, we could have had something even lower for even less points, but I compromised and got us a full-size vehicle for 12,000 points, okay? And then our flight to San Diego, round trip, I had another credit card that I had some straggle points on. So I used the straggle points because I like credit cards where you don't have to have all the points. You can use some and then pay cash, the rest. So I bought both of our round trip plane tickets for $171 a piece because they were offset by points.
Love it.
But then, with Rochelle being here in Vegas, this is why I say we save more than you think you need, because I love to be able to take opportunity. When an opportunity pops up, I love to be able to adjust and take it. So this was an opportunity.
I didn't even really realize what was happening when I was talking to you the first day about it. That's what's funny. I was like, wait,
I didn't even
realize.
Here? Yeah. So the opportunity says, yeah, you bought a round trip ticket. Oh, well, it'll be all right. Buy another ticket. Opportunity says, yeah, you're supposed to return your car in San Diego. Well, let's see if you can pivot. And so the pivot was,
I feel like that. And then what happened? That's why you were sitting on your back on.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Technical difficulties.
Back to the budget section.
Okay. So,
you were up to the Nissan Altima.
Hey y'all. Okay, so the camera had cut off. So this is the missing gap. What I was saying was we were supposed to return the car in San Diego, but because we were now doing this pivot and we were in LA, we realized that the rental car had a branch in LA. Not Vegas, but LA. So we were able to return the car at the LA location for an additional fee. That's where we are right now.
So we end up having to pay $150 drop-off fee, which is a scam. It's a scam. But they did it because what else? Because if we would have booked it like that up front, it wouldn't be that different. But hey, we did the numbers and it was cheaper than just getting a new rental car from this point forward. So we just paid the $150 and then we got a new rental to get us here to Vegas. With the rental to get us here to Vegas, at first we was going to drop it off once we got here. But then we realized that because the price wasn't that much different, it was better to keep it. That way we don't have to do an Uber to get to the airport. We don't have to, you know what I mean? Like we would have dropped it off and had to take an Uber to get to our hotel, Uber to get to the airport. So it worked out fine. And I just used points again. I used I think this was 11,000 points. Wow. So, yeah. So again, it didn't feel like it was coming out of our pocket. Now let me tell you, we are on the strip. Now we said this because Rochelle is staying off strip. She prefers to stay off strip in Vegas. I love staying on the strip in Vegas. Yeah. But guys, how much you think we spent? We're in the MGM Grand right now.
How much you think?
How much you think we spent? We on a high floor.
Yes, beautiful view.
We could have stayed at Park MGM, Aria, Vidara, Cosmo. Or pretty much any MGM property. This room is comped. It's free. It's free. It's free because for some reason, well, where's Jay now? Jay's downstairs in the casino, but he doesn't even gamble a lot. But for some reason, they give him all these comps to pretty much any place. Usually, 1 to 3 nights.
I'm convinced that they just have a pool that they pick from.
Is this my mind?
Yes, that's yours. Because it just seemed like certain people just get rewards. You know what I mean? It's just
Because I don't get it. They gave me 1 night at Luxor or 1 night at Excalibur. Those were my options.
See? But instead, y'all are here.
And he picked this one. Mandalay Bay, the W.
What?
He didn't want to stay at Mandalay because he was like, we already stayed there before. We never stayed at at MGM Grand. I'm like, but Jay, we stayed at the Signature. So we're here. So we're here for free. But guess what else? We still have the rental car, right? We're gold status here with MGM. The reason why we're gold status is because we're elite status with Celebrity Cruise Ship. We take Celebrity Cruises a lot. So with Celebrity Cruise, they're partnered with MGM.
Wow.
And so we came here. We went straight to the gold check-in lounge. We didn't even have a gold card
on you.
So we went there and we're like, hey, we're supposed to be gold because we got. So they honored it. So that meant they upgraded our room for free. That means that they also comp our resort fees. So we don't pay resort fees for here.
Which is insane. Unheard of.
And then they also comp our parking. So we get to park for free. We get to either use valet or self-park. It don't matter. It's free. And they gave us $50 credit. So we just charge it to the room, and you can be at any, even though we're at MGM Grand, you could be at any MGM property, and you can charge it to your room, no matter where you are. So we always charge things to our room, but because we're gold, we also get to go to the lounge. So the lounge has coffee. So that means we go down there, we get our coffee. The lounge has water. We go down there, we get bottles of water. If you're looking at Starbucks bag right there, oh, you think that's Starbucks? No, baby, that's lounge food. The lounge has snacks. It has like chocolate chip cookies, fig bars,
just late night snacks. You don't got to leave out the room.
Airplane snacks.
Airplane food. Oh.
Airplane snacks. Now we did have to buy a new ticket going home because of this opportunity that we was like, you know what? We're doing this. So because of this opportunity, we had to buy a new ticket. I'm flying an airline. I don't ever fly, but I need to change my attitude about them. Frontier.
Oh,
I don't do Frontier. But Frontier, the flight was $151. And it was the least expensive option.
Mm-hmm.
I bought us the package, the bundle package with the luggage and everything because we have carry-ons. And so that came to about $206 a person. Okay. So it let us pick our seat. Because there is a layover. Normally I do direct flights, but sacrificing for her.
I feel so special.
Yeah, so because there's a layover and there was only a 40-minute window, I knew we needed to get seats closer to the front.
Because you don't want to mess around with that connecting.
Now, when I bought the flight, I did mess up and I ended up hitting the wrong flight. I hit the flight that said 21 hours to get home. So I had to call them because our flight, the bundle package also comes with, you can change flights.
Oh, yeah.
Without penalty.
See? And that's why you buy certain levels.
But what I didn't realize was that once you change it, they say it negates your bundle. But they didn't tell me that. So I had to call them back and say, nobody told me. And so they were so apologetic, but they said there's nothing they can really do. But she was able to put our bundle back on for a price.
Okay.
And the price was like $52.
Okay.
So I had to pay additional $52. But because she felt bad, what she did is she gave us front row seats. So the front row seats are just 2 seats.
Oh, instead of the 3.
So we're almost like the first class of Frontier. So I said, you know what? That upgrade wasn't bad. So I look at it as we paid $52 additional for like this upgrade. So So I think if my math serves me right, we're about at between $200 and $300 for you to change your mind. Maybe. I haven't even did the math.
I feel like that's just a running tab. I'm sure she'll insert the actual number on the screen for you guys. How much it costs to feel like changing your mind.
I haven't done the math.
Because this is the question. This is the question here. How did travel impact stress, clarity, or motivation? And I think my mindset behind that question is, what are the reasons why we choose to travel? You felt like seeing me. And I feel like whenever we're together, it motivates us both to create content.
Yeah. Also, I feel like, guys, freedom. We say we want financial freedom. What does financial freedom really mean?
This is what it looks like, y'all.
This is what it looks like. Financial freedom for me says if we get out of our way of overthinking the numbers, because again, America is going to have a way to make you feel like it's never enough, right?
That's right.
You have people who reach, like again, my net worth is all going on $2 million.
Ooh.
Not to say that that's a whole lot, but that's the problem. We're always saying nothing is enough, right? But the point is, when is it enough? When is it enough? I remember my mom was like, oh no, you need to get another job. When do I get the rest? I'll be 50 this year. If I've been working since 14, I know. I've been working since 14. I'm about to be 50. So when is enough enough? When is enough enough? Why do we let the government define retirement age?
Woo. And how many people do we know who do it the conventional way, retire,
and still don't have enough?
Don't have enough or don't start living.
Yeah.
There's so few people that I know in real life who are living through retirement.
Because living is something you have to train yourself to do. Before you even retire, you have to train yourself to have a retirement mindset, a mindset of freedom. Otherwise, because right now, like I said, I'm going through some adjusting, right? Because I was thrust into retirement. So I didn't get a chance to fully put myself through the training program. I was thrust here. So now that I'm here, I'm really seeing, oh, wait. I do feel like having a job is where my abundance comes from, where my this comes from, so I'm reprogramming myself, right? So you do have to
in real time.
So even when you think, okay, if I didn't work, blah 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 blah, you have to start training yourself. How are you spending your days off? How are you spending your vacations? How do you feel about debt? How do you feel about income that may be a little more sporadic than you're used to? Stop doing the work to really navigate your feelings behind those things. You know?
And can we mention in this video that, because we said it in my video, working while traveling or networking while traveling. Just because she's not home and she's not at a job doesn't mean she's not thinking about how to create or sustain an income source. She's over here networking and we're creating different avenues so that we make sure her rooms stay booked. For her. We just doing the
always keep our mind open to opportunity. But let me tell you, because I told you, we got a bunch of business cards in our backpack, right? Because we're traveling in and out of DCA, IAD, we pass out our cards to the flight attendants and pilots that we see while we're at the airport. So we say, let's get to the airport early so that we can network.
I love it. I gotta take some.
I can't just do my whole little do-rag thing. You know what I'm saying? I gotta look a little presentable. Gotta look like you want to stay at my house. Yes. You know? So, yeah, we're always... And then, of course, we keep our laptops. We keep our phones. We're always creating content. We're editing in our downtime. You know, we're doing the things.
Yeah.
We're doing the things. Yeah. But travel's my thing. Now, here's the thing. So this is just a little trip. I don't even count being in America as travel. I don't. We're preparing for our bigger trip where we was going to do 3 months. Doing all of Central and South America. But now we're only going to do 1 month and we're only doing Central America. And that's not because we can't do longer. It's only because my stepdaughter, Jay's daughter, she graduates high school this year, and they haven't given us a date. The date is still TBD. So I don't want to schedule travel because I like to schedule it in advance.
Yes.
You know. Yes. And so I was like, you know what? It's just easier just come back and do her graduation, and then we'll
go from there.
So
I have another question. These are some really good questions, by the way. What would you tell someone considering travel after a job loss?
I would say, and there's so many different schools of thoughts on this, but I would say afford it. Be afforded. Meaning do what is within your means. while you have a job, this is why I say save, 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 save. If it isn't going toward the things that you're truly passionate about, like who needs a Louis bag? I have one. I know she got one. But we don't need it. And if I could do it again, I would have never purchased that bag.
Say it.
Right? I would have much rather preferred to have that money in my fund, in my travel fund, in my future me fund. Right?
Right.
So really look at what really matters to you. If it don't matter to you, don't put money towards it. Money is energy. Put your energetic money towards the things that matter to you. And if not now, it's going to be in the future, right? Meaning you don't have to say, oh, I got $200 now, let me find some travel to do. No, put it away. For when the future travel, when the future opportunity presents itself, it's there. So that's what I would say. Be within your means. Honestly, Jay and I love keeping my money. I love keeping my money. So so before this, we were in Miami.
Okay.
We were sleeping on an air mattress in somebody's living room.
Get you somebody who can do both, I think is the line.
And my thing is,
Waldorf or mattress?
We can afford to stay in but why should we if we can use that money later down the road?
Yeah.
I told you about San Diego, but did I say in LA we stayed at my friend's house?
No, you said you went to visit a friend.
We visited our friend Brooke Sydney in LA. Eye in the Sky, because we did some videos too together. I don't know where they at. See are they here? Are they not here? Eye in the Sky if they are. But we stayed at her home in an air mattress once again, in a bedroom.
And slept good.
Slept good. Slept for free. When we do our Central America, guess what? Some of the places we stay will be hostels.
Yeah.
I'd rather save the money.
Yeah.
Because the money can extend further. It can go further. You know? Mm-hmm. It lowers my anxiety. Yeah. So, I'm not going to be the girl who, well, I had this much money now. Nah, babe. It won't go down like that.
Wait, can I ask you a controversial question?
Absolutely.
This is okay, so this is something that I don't think you'll say in specific, but I think it's a good question. Who should not be traveling after job loss?
If you ain't got no money, if you can't pay your bills, shouldn't be. No, because your bills have to be paid. Your bills have to be paid. If you can't pay your bills, because I understand we live in, some people it's YOLO, it's but I gotta do the future ain't promised. I get it, but because the future ain't promised, this is why you should be promising a future for yourself by saving your money and trying to do some good financial practices while you can. Now I get it. Things happen, right? My whole journey is the fact that things happen. I ain't got a job no more, but you don't have to go on that particular trip. There are ways to take vacation. There are ways to take break that don't have to, you can do it within your means. Yeah. You can do it within your means. Yeah. And even if your version is, as I said, we visited a friend in LA and stayed at her place. Yeah. Who can you visit? Who will let you sleep on a couch? Matter of fact, okay, I'm going to let y'all know. We popped the air mattress. We broke the air mattress. The air mattress broke. Not because we were doing anything. Get your little heads out the gutter. We weren't.
It just happened.
I don't know if it's because I gained all this weight. I don't know what it was, but the air mattress popped. Yeah. It might have had a little leak in it. We don't know. Air mattress broke. So,
that is hilarious.
The last day, Jay slept on the couch, and I slept in her son's bed because her son has a twin bed.
Okay.
So that's why we had an air mattress in his room because it wasn't big enough for both of us. Yeah. So I slept in her son's bed. He slept on the couch.
Made it work.
Make it work, y'all. And I understand some people say, well, I'm too grown for that. Hey.
That's what your story looks like.
Hey. We got oh my gosh. I got so many stories of my low-end travel. I have a cousin who got 9 kids.
I feel like these are where the best memories are created.
She got 9 kids, y'all. And me, 2 of my sisters, 3 of my sisters, it was all 4 of us, and 2 of their kids visited her, and we all stayed in her house. We stayed she made a pallet on the floor. We had the couch, the floor, and a bed.
I love it.
And she says, I can tell y'all I live in a 1-bedroom, and something tells me y'all still gonna come. We sure are. We sure are.
Get ready.
And I said to her, I said, the main thing is because not only is she good energy, but this is the way we get to bond and build memories. Because if we stayed in a hotel, we are losing some time. You know what I mean? Because it's like you got the time where you're going to get dressed, We really like just the moments where we're just sitting back laughing over nothing. No agenda.
Definitely.
The way we create that is because we in a pallet on the floor. And she only had one bathroom. We made it work. You wouldn't have even known. I think I have some videos on this channel with us visiting her.
Just throw a piece in here, right here. The possibilities.
So I love a good homegrown moment over a hotel moment.
Yes.
You know? And we just, and it's not because we can't afford or, you know, it's not. So that's why I say reframe the story you're telling yourself. Even if you don't have a job, or as in her video we did on her channel, we talked about having a bunch of debt or whatever. Even if that is your circumstance, you get to define your truth. My circumstance is not my truth, right? I don't have a job. But guess what? We're going to go on this world tour visiting all the people who will let us sleep on their couch, on their floor, on their whatever. Because this is how we're creating memories. This is how we're shaking up the monotony in lives. So not only am I helping me, I'm helping you. Right?
And the people you're visiting.
Yes. Because all you're doing is going to work and coming home, going to work and coming home. Now we get to shake it up a little.
And because you have the time, you can take your time and travel and do all the things and not feel rushed and not feel constricted by, I have to hurry up so I can get back.
I can get back. When you're here, I didn't have to say, but wait, I have to get back to work. Oh, nope. Detour. Living in the moment. We're coming to Vegas too. And again, I shared with you, it made sense, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't we're going to Vegas and we're going to spend $1,000 here. No. Nope, it made sense. So that's why it was a yes for us, because it made financial sense. We didn't even know we had those comp rooms, so Jay looked at his app, his MGM app. And then it was like, makes sense.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, that is the conversation. I mean, we have covered so much. I hope y'all have enjoyed this conversation as much as I have. I just love linking up with Tinesha because there's so many things that I want to ask her on camera, and we never, really link up at that often. So I feel like we got a good bit accomplished, especially in reference to job loss and all the things that come with that, the emotional and mental toll that it takes. But turning lemons to lemonade type of energy, because Tinesha, the thing I always remind Tinesha of is the work that she has put in all these years to get to this level of comfort, outside of looking in, financial comfort to still live her truth and continue to fund and budget act.
Yeah, fund and budget act.
Look, I'm old school.
I know, the fund and budget act. Because it's an act, y'all. This is intentional. And the thing about it is life is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be fun, and fun doesn't have to come with a price tag.
Ooh.
Right. So yeah. So thank y'all so much for being here. Again, don't forget the thumbs up. Talk to me down there in the comments. Go over there and visit Rochelle Adamson Budgets and see the conversations we had over there. Again, great food for thought. And I am going to see you all in the next video. Until then, let there be peace. Thumbnail. I know we did it.